Ladies and gentlemen, to begin the evening, I would invite all of those individuals and teams that are being inducted tonight to please stand up so that we can acknowledge the greatness that you have contributed to the sport. All rise. Thank you. The Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Museum would like to acknowledge that we live, work, play, and tonight gather on Treaty 1 territory. We acknowledge that Manitoba is located on treaty territories and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Inuit, Dakota Oyate, Denisulan, and Nehetawic nations. We acknowledge that Manitoba is located on the homeland of the Red River Métis. We wish to express our gratitude to Mother Earth and for the resources that we are using, including the land, water, and air, and honor and recognize all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people who have been living on the land. We welcome all nations to Softball Manitoba. Welcome. Welcome to the 26th Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame anniversary and the 22nd Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame induction dinner. My name is Kathy Gauthier, and I am honored and delighted to be a part of this evening yet again. My claim to fame is more in curling. I'm a world and Canadian curling champion, and I've been a broadcaster for TSN's curling coverage for about the last 25 years. But, thank you. My son has to clap. That's right, buddy. But my first love was softball, and so this is always a special night to reunite with old friends. But it's even more special tonight because my longtime partner and fiancé, Alfred Schleier, was a part of the International Asham Fastball team, and so he told me that he was a great ball player when we met. In fact, it was our second date, and we were at a restaurant, and a woman came over that I had played ball with, and we realized very quickly that we knew a lot of the same people, and we'd probably been at Krupp together and passed by each other. And I remember thinking, okay, well, this is a pretty interesting guy. And then he got up to go to the bathroom, and I thought, I hope he hits a long ball, because there's not a lot of speed in this guy. But Alfred, with this induction, I believe now everything that you tell me, and he tells me the Jets are going to win tomorrow night, so I'm buying that. I would like to extend a special welcome tonight to the Honorable Nellie Kennedy, Minister of Sport, Culture, Heritage, and Tourism. We're so glad that you could join us. And at this time, I would like to invite Board Director Janet Taylor to come forward to say grace.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Let us take a moment before we enjoy the meal that has been graciously prepared for us today to be thankful. To be thankful for food in a world where many walk in hunger. To be thankful for security in a world where many walk in fear. To be thankful for friendship in a world where many walk alone. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to get together today and have the opportunity to celebrate excellence, teamwork, and sportsmanship in the game of softball. For these and many other gifts that we are blessed with, we give thanks.
Enjoy your dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, while you are enjoying your dessert, we will begin with the program. Please welcome the Honorable Nellie Kennedy, Minister of Sport, Culture, Heritage, and Tourism.
Well, good evening, everyone. I just want to thank the staff here for the delicious foods. That was a great dinner. Everyone's enjoying their dessert. So thank you very much for that. Of course, it's my pleasure to be here to celebrate the achievements of the 2025 Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame inductees and Memorial Award recipients this evening. All those being recognized this evening have made a lasting impact on sport in Manitoba. and have rightfully earned the accolades that will be bestowed upon them this evening. Softball is a sport that brings people together. Whether it's the recreational or competitive level, nothing quite says summer in Manitoba like a long evening spent enjoying the outdoors with teammates and friends. We're fortunate to have many dedicated individuals across Manitoba committed to supporting a thriving softball community. The Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Museum plays an important role in celebrating softball history across our province while encouraging present-day softball players to pursue excellence in their sport of choice. I'd like to congratulate the many outstanding athletes, coaches, umpires, leaders, and volunteers being recognized this evening, as well as their family, their friends, and their supporters. These remarkable athletes have inspired us with their outstanding achievements, their many years of hard work, and their unwavering dedication. The passion and commitment they have for the softball community has made an impact that will be felt well into the future. I'd like to thank Softball Manitoba and the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Museum for the invitation to join you this evening. Thank you as well to the Board of Members and volunteers for your time and your efforts organizing this incredible event. So once again, I'd like to congratulate once more all the honorees of this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's not very nice. Thank you very much, Minister. Appreciate it. I'd now like to call up the Vice President of the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame, Adrienne Brown.
Thanks, Kathy. Normally we'd have Murray up here doing this. He's away at a family matter, so he unfortunately is not with us tonight. Honorable Minister Kennedy, memorial recipients, inductees, sponsors, and guests. On behalf of the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame Board of Directors, we'd like to welcome you to the 22nd induction ceremony. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce and thank the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame executive and board members that have given many volunteer hours with the organization. Please remain standing while I introduce everybody. Past President Al Sharp, President Murray Blight, Secretary Val Paulson, Treasurer Les Newman, Directors Jana Taylor, Melanie Fernandez, Kevin Bartley, Jack Colson, Les Elchuk, and Todd Picklick. I'm pleased to recognize the award sponsors, Softball Manitoba, RMD Insurance, Roll With It Rentals, Rotary Villas, and Smitty's. I'd like to ask the owners or the representatives to please rise and accept our appreciation. Thank you very much. A little update on the museum. Softball Brandon and the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame are presently pursuing a partnership in having a museum at the Ashley Neufeld Softball Complex. Further details are to follow at a later date. As for the history of the leagues and teams, anybody has anything with past history, please feel free to email, phone, let a board of director know. We're always trying to update that. Jana Taylor, Jack Colson, myself are presently reviewing the process with recommendations and approval for the annual meeting. This is to try and help increase and simplify the nomination process. This time I'd like to thank the selection committee, program sponsors and donators, Inland Audio Visual, Victoria Inn administration and staff. And last but not least, the annual meeting is tentatively booked for Thursday, September 18th, 7 o'clock here at the Winnipeg Victoria Inn. We encourage everybody for their participation. In conclusion, congratulations and enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. And finally, please welcome Director Les Elchuk, who will provide us an update on the website.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our induction ceremony. Congratulations to the inductees and teams for this year's induction class. My name is Les Elchuk. I'm one of the directors for the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Museum, and I manage the website. I am always looking for information that we can post digitally within the website. Photos are appreciated. There should be an email address that should pop up on the screen, and that will tell you it's just admin@mbshowfm.com, and you can share that information. I'd also like to share a couple of projects that are coming up in the future where we hope to interview inductees, previous inductees, to gather their perspective on the sport so that we can preserve that history, and it'll be there to share with everyone. So we're looking for pictures, even pictures of memorabilia, because we're not just a Hall of Fame, we're a Hall of Fame and museum. And we can make this grow to preserve that history with your input. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
You all have a program at your table, and it's a pretty great piece of work. Feel free to take that home. In there, you will find a list of all of those that have been previously inducted. Would anyone in the room that has previously been inducted to the Softball Hall of Fame please stand up? Thank you for attending. Since our last induction dinner, we have lost several members of our softball family. Would you please join me in a moment of silence as we remember them? Thank you. The board would like to take this opportunity to extend their gratitude and appreciation to the sponsors of this event. Please do look at their advertisements. They're in the program, and if you can support those companies in any way, it keeps them coming back and keeps this evening as good as it is. Thank you to all of you who have supported the Hall of Fame through a purchase of a lifetime or an annual membership, as well as your support in other donations. A big thank you as well to all of you who have contributed to hosting this event tonight. Your continued support allows the Hall of Fame and Museum Board to hold the annual induction ceremony and to operate the museum in Portage. Adrian mentioned it briefly. If you have any pictures, so they're not looking for actual artifacts, but pictures of equipment, uniforms, jackets, crests, bats, balls, scrapbooks, any of those things that would help for the history, please do take pictures and send it to any of the board of directors. It's a way to expand it and also to minimize what they actually have to take care of. If you would like to commemorate your induction tonight in a special way, at the auction table there are order forms from Heavy Metal Design. You can order yourself a ring and make it as big as an NFL ring. Anyone wishing to make a financial contribution tonight, Les Newman is happy to provide you a tax receipt. Les would just love your money. Lifetime members of the Softball Hall of Fame are listed on page 6 of the program if you'd like to check them out. So how does one get inducted to the Softball Hall of Fame? On page 8 of your program, the information is outlined regarding the nomination process. Nominations are reviewed by an independent selection committee which makes the final decision on the individuals and teams that will be inducted each year. Once again, the members have done a terrific job. They were this year Jill Mattheys, Doug Fraser, Al McPherson, Jim Ney, Ferdy Nielsen, Bev Workman, Brett Turner, with Les Newman and Jack Colson as facilitators. Thank you very much for your time with the selection. If you are interested in nominating an individual or a team, you can download a copy of Softball Manitoba's and Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame from the webpage. The nomination deadline each year is September 1st. We talked about already, Adrian did, and Les, that the annual general meeting is tentatively scheduled for September the 18th right here. Some of you may have already checked out the silent auction items. If you want to purchase tickets, we'll have an intermission shortly. Feel free to do so. At the conclusion of the second session, for lack of better words, it will be closed and they will be posted at the end of the night. Tickets are $10 for a sheet of 25 and $20 for 3 sheets. Next year's induction ceremony, if you like to plan ahead, will be held in Brandon at the Victoria Inn on May 2nd. This evening, the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Museum and Softball Manitoba will be honoring 8 annual Memorial Award recipients. The Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame will then formally induct 5 individuals and 3 teams into the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame and Museum. The induction ceremony will be carried out in 2 parts. You can read the accomplishments of each of the individuals and teams in the program. During the ceremony, we'll focus just on a couple of anecdotes that may not be on their plaque. Now, before we begin, we're going to take about a 10-minute intermission. And while you're doing what you need to do and get a drink, if we can get the Memorial Award recipients, they are Cam Christie, Helena Bowden, Brett Watt, Bernie Garson, Stefan Brunel, Janaea Watt, Jeremy Lau, and Ron Westcott, as well as Reed Burse, Rob Olson, Ed Shore, Lauren Sineshan, and Gord Zamzow to gather to my right. Then you'll be ready when we come back in 10 minutes. We'll see you in 10. Thank you. Okay, this is not a tune time now. Many have not seen the awards that are presented to the inductees. The annual Memorial Award recipients will be receiving a plaque for their accomplishments. The individuals and teams receive a large plaque in the shape of the province of Manitoba. If you could show what these awards look like. Here we go. My Vanna White. So the large plaque, that is for the teams in the shape of the province, while each team member receives a plaque in the shape of home plate. These unique awards were created by Off the Wall in Brandon. Inductees also receive, you're done, receive a certificate to commemorate their induction. Thanks, though. Into the Hall of Fame. In addition, permanent prints with photos and text about the inductees have been produced, and you can get a laminated copy of that if you like. Forms are available at the memorabilia table or from a Hall of Fame member board. Laminated copies are $38 when picked up and $55 if mailed. So the plan for this evening is to keep things going. So if you know somebody that is being inducted and you'd like to take a picture, by all means, just come right up to the front as you hear us start to talk about them. It's a great way to remember a special night. So first, we will present the annual Memorial Award recipients. The Bob Turner Memorial Award for Outstanding Contribution to Grassroots Softball goes to Cam Christie of Springfield Heat, presented by Tracy Turner and Leah Bunio. Yes, sure, by all means. The Leo Bouchard Memorial Award recognizing leadership in minor pitcher development goes to Helena Bowden, Russell Royals, Parkland's AA softball, presented by Greg Bouchard. The Bill Sidonic Memorial Award for Minor Coach of the Year goes to Brett Watt, U19 AAA Smitty's Terminators, presented by Adrian Brown. Scooch over there a little bit more. The Edgar Stevenson Memorial Award for Top Male Player goes to Bernie Garson, U19 Fisher River Hawks, presented by Adrian Brown. Wait, come back. Come on, fam. The Eugene Michelot Memorial Award for Volunteer of the Year is awarded to Stéphane Broussel, Winnipeg Southwest Youth Softball, Youth Softball Association, presented by Adrian Brown. The Jean Main Memorial Award for Top Female Player is awarded to Janaea Watt, U19 AAA Smitty's Terminators, presented by Adrian Brown again. The Jim Adams Memorial Award for Outstanding Administrator, Builder, or Executive Member is Jeremy Lowe, Northwest Fastball, presented by Adrian Brown. And finally, the Wayne DeShower Memorial Award for Umpire of the Year is presented to Ron Westcott, who's also being inducted to the Curling Hall of Fame tonight as well. Presented by Clemens DeShower. He does not get to speak. No, we do not. We do not want a speech. Off you go. Off you go. You're out. And now to the Softball Hall of Fame individual inductees. So first, the criteria. Any nomination for a long-term accomplishment must cover a minimum of 2 years and a maximum of 6 years. So if I could get the inductees to join me on stage, that's Reed Burse, Rob Olson, Lauren Seneshin, Ed Shore, Gord Zamzow. If you would come up and have a seat, please. Our first individual inducted tonight is in the athlete category, and that is Reed Burse. Reed began playing softball in his hometown of Dauphin, Manitoba, and in the fall of 1973, moved to Winnipeg to attend university. Over the next 30 years, he built an impressive resume of high-level fastball experience. He has played with some of the top teams in Manitoba, including the St. Anne Saints, the St. Vital Flocking Ducks, the Winnipeg Internationals, and the Winnipeg Colonels. He has appeared in 14 Senior A men's championships, as well as countless top-level tournaments across Canada and the United States. During his tenure with the Colonels of the Western Major Fastball League, arguably the best fastball league in the country, Reed was a winner of a Golden Glove Award and was an Eastern Division All-Star nominee. In 1982 and 1983, he was a Winnipeg Fastball League All-Star. In 1983, Reed was also a member of a team put together to challenge for a national championship. Despite winning 5 of 7 games, they finished 4th after losing playoff games to Victoria, who were the gold medal winners, and Saskatoon, the silver medal winners. In 1984, he was the playing coach of the Winnipeg Internationals, and the team won the Western Canadian ISC tournament, defeating Camrose, Saskatoon, and Calgary. At the time, these teams were all ranked in the top 10 in North America. At the ISC tournament that year, they finished with a respectable 3 wins and 2 losses. At the 1987 Canadian Championship in Calgary, Reid was runner-up for the Top Batter Award with a .543 average. On every team and at every level that he played on, Reid was a top performer and leader. Please welcome Reid Burse into the Hall of Fame tonight in the athlete category.
Congrats, Reid.
Last time I did this, I forgot these, so. It was a nice day out there today, and it's the kind of day that we used to hope for to get an early start on practicing for the upcoming seasons. Congratulations to the individuals and teams on their induction this evening. And first of all, I'd like to say a few thank yous to the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame for accepting my nomination, for hosting this event, and to the volunteers that make this event and the Hall of Fame a success. To Ron Westcott for putting my nomination together. And a big thank you to my wife of 54 years who put up with 30-plus summers on the ball field. That started back in '71. I was married that fall. Thank you to the team sponsors over the years, with special mention to St. Anne Saints, Norm Day and executive. Charlie Brown's out there tonight. Winnipeg Colonels, Champs Chicken, Harry Buchert and Company. Manitoba Lotteries, International Inn, and Arnold Ashram with the Ashram Fastball Club, as well as the Red Dogs, Mark Fanoof, the Vicor Vipers, and Van Brothers, Riel Viget. And to my teammates for coming out to support me tonight. I think that's why they came, I'm not sure, but anyway. Now a bit of a history of my fastball journey. As I said, I started out in 1971 playing fastball. After 8 years of taking, basically I didn't even play catch. I tried out for the Dauphin Redbirds senior baseball team, but decided that fastball was a better fit, as that's where my friends were at. I spent 3 years playing in the Dauphin Men's Fastball League. In late 1972, I moved to Minnesota to attend Brandon University. There I listened to a radio broadcast on the Weyburn radio station. The defending national champion Richmond Hill Dines were playing the Weyburn Canadians in the Canadian Senior A Fastball Championship in Edmonton. The right fielder for that Weyburn team was my former Little League catcher and lifelong friend, Elmer Billows. Actually, my picture's up there. That's him sliding into second base. Oh, you can't see it anyway. Sliding into second base. His brother Larry was the second baseman. Listening to that game and Weyburn winning the national championship motivated me to want to play ball at that level. I moved to Winnipeg in the fall of '73, and during the late winter, I attended the Winnipeg Colonel Open Workouts at Minnow Armories. It was a good experience that I used as a way to gauge my skill level compared to players working out. It was there that I met the late Bob Turner, who directed me to the St. Anne Saints workouts. St. Anne Saints head coach Jim Shepard reluctantly agreed to give me a look, as there was no tryouts. I made the team as a starting shortstop, and that year we lost the '74 provincials to the St. Vital Ducks. I was added to the roster for my first of 14 national championships. One memory of that championship was my roommate, Buzz Lamond, who passed away just this last week. My condolences to Buzz's family. That was the beginning of 28 years of playing senior fastball. I was fortunate enough to play fastball during the heydays of the '70s, '80s, and '90s, with and against some of the best players in Manitoba, North America, and with a few Kiwis thrown in there as well. A good number of those players are here this evening. I started 74-75 with the Saints, 76-81 with the Winnipeg Colonels. In 1982, I put together a team, the Winnipeg Golden Boys, which played in the Winnipeg Fastball League. We also played tournaments in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and North Dakota. In 1983, I was a member of the Internationals team that was formed out of the ashes of the Colonels, the Golden Boys, and the Portage Dodgers. In 1984, I got an opportunity to take on a role as a player coach. It was something I would continue to do on and off for 15 years. Adrian, you're listening, right? As an unorthodox, unconventional, against the grain style of coaching that my teammates labeled Barney Ball. It was after my nickname. The late Ron Gustafson may have come up with this, and it was a takeoff on Billy Martin's Billy Ball. I spent 85 to 93 with the Winnipeg Internationals and Asham Fastball Clubs, and from 1994 to 2002 with 6 different teams: Winnipeg Miller, Manitoba Red Dogs, Vicor Vipers, and my last team, the Band of Brothers. Something I was lucky enough to do during this time was to be able to play with my 2 brothers, unfortunately not at the same time. With Randall in 1972 at the Senior B Provincials in Winkler, and then with Sheldon on 4 different teams in numerous provincial championships. We competed together in 2 senior nationals with the Red Dogs and the Band of Brothers, and in 1996 we won a Senior B Western Canadian Championship with the Red Dogs. We won a bronze medal together at the 2002 Canadian Masters Championships. Those were great memories. I coached my daughter's softball team for a few years. It was the only time I was ever fired. They got rid of me because I spent too much time teaching the girls how to throw. Well, I thought it was pretty important. I coached my son's baseball team for 5 years. He was also the bat boy for our team at my last national championship. A message to all you grandparents out there. If we're ever to revive the men's fast pitch game, you have to encourage your grandkids to play baseball, which hopefully leads to fastball. And to all you ex-players out there, give yourselves a big congratulatory slap on the back, because the game you played, like baseball, was a really, really difficult game to play and succeed at, which is not the only reason, but one of the main reasons the game died. Hopefully more young men will be up to that challenge as we were. Couple of regrets: didn't win a medal in a national championship, and wished I'd have played a little longer at the Masters level. As well, I wished I was able to teach Randy Dutame the words to "I am a fisherman, me," and to teach Bush, wherever he is, the words to Chinese mule train. Never succeeded at that one. And lastly, what turns out to be the most meaningful thing about this 28 to 30 years are the long-lasting friendships with players I played with and against. It was a good run. Thank you.
Our second individual tonight is also inducted into the athlete category, Rob Olson. Rob started playing men's fastball at the age of 16 in his hometown of Gladstone. In 1988, he was instrumental in forming a new team, the Gladstone Whips, that over the next number of years would successfully compete at the junior men's, intermediate A, and senior open levels. In 1989, Rob was a member of Manitoba's team at the Canada Games in Saskatoon. In 2002, Rob was named top male in the Manitoba Senior Fast Pitch and All-Star second baseman at the Senior A Nationals. He has also played in numerous ISC tournaments. He finished his competitive fast pitch career playing with the Portage Phillies and the Clan William Grays. On each of the teams that Rob played on, he was a top performer and a leader on and off the field. Please join me in welcoming Rob Olson into the Softball Hall of Fame.
I guess we'll get to the plaque later. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly an honor to stand in front of you tonight. I would like to start off by thanking Adrian Brown for the nomination, as well as the Softball Hall of Fame and the committee for putting on this evening. Congratulations to all the deserving 2025 Hall of Fame inductees, with a special shout out to Helena Bowden and all the Memorial Award recipients. I would like to recognize and thank some ball teams that I have had the honor of playing with over the years. My passion for the game all started in my hometown with the Gladstone Hotel men's fastball team, spending weekends at local ball diamonds learning the game. Can't even read my own here. Thank you to the Manitoba Alliance, who had a pleasure of attending some ISCs and Senior A championships, as well as Al McPherson and the Clan William Grays, where I spent several years playing some Masters ball. And Portage Phillies, thank you for the years of ball, including attending NAFA World Championships and the Western Canadian Championships. Lastly, the Gladstone Whips, where I spent 16 years playing alongside best friends, family, and teammates. The Gladstone Whips started as a young group of men with a common goal and a love for the game. With the strong leadership of Wayne Descour and Dirk Speck, we learned the importance of hard work, focus, and teamwork. One of our greatest highlights was medaling 3 consecutive Western Canadian Championships. In closing, I would like to thank my parents for the tremendous support over the years and always making the trip to cheer us on, no matter what the distance was. All my Whips boys, many of whom I'm fortunate enough to have here celebrating with me tonight, thank you. Thank you all. My wife, Melinda, thank you for your patience. And that's just enough said. My 2 boys, Tyler and Bryce, I thank you for keeping my love for the game alive. And 44 is signing out. Thank you.
Our next inductee enters the Hall of Fame in the all-around category, and that's Lorne Seneshin. Lorne began playing softball on his school team in Insinger, Saskatchewan. He moved to Winnipeg in 1951, and after a few years playing baseball, he began a fast-pitch, slow-pitch career that spanned over 50 years. As a player, he made his mark as a third baseman and was selected as an all-star in Winnipeg men's fast-pitch leagues on numerous occasions. Following his fast-pitch career, he played senior and master's slow pitch and was a member of teams that brought home numerous provincial, Western Canadian, and world championships. However, Lorne was not only an elite-level player on any team that he played on, he also took on a leadership role, including coach and/or manager. In addition, he has served on committees for league, provincial, Western Canadian, and other slow-pitch championships. Lorne's expertise and guidance was not limited to just softball. From the 1950s through to the 1990s, he coached youth sports, hockey, baseball, and ringette in numerous community clubs in Winnipeg. Lorne will go into the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame as someone who played and gave back to the game. Please join me in welcoming Lorne Seneshin as an all-around athlete.
I don't have 6 pages. First of all, thank you to the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame for this honor. I'd also like to thank Dave Shayak, Daryl Beamish, Ron Taves, Charlie Brown, and Jerry Edmonds for their efforts to get me this honor. I would also at this time like to thank my family for their support through the years. I would also like to thank all the softball players, both teammates and opponents, that allowed me to play the softball game for over 50 years. Softball gave me the opportunity to develop lifetime friendships and travel across Canada and the U.S. It's sad to see this game that we all loved starting to disappear. I remember the days when Sergeant Park was the mecca of softball. It was a great time, guys. Thanks to all.
Our next inductee is in the builder category, Ed Shore. Ed grew up in Poplarfield, Manitoba, and moved to Winnipeg to attend university. In 1964, he started playing fastball, and throughout the 1970s and 1980s was a pitcher on various teams in the Winnipeg Fastball League. Along the way, he pitched in numerous provincial and league championships. Even more impressive than his success on the field was his dedication and contribution to promoting and growing the sport of softball. He was team manager coach on many teams and held various executive positions with the Winnipeg Fastball League. Ed had a reputation of being willing to do whatever it took to promote the game of softball and to encourage people to play the game. After over 50 years of involvement, tonight he will enter the Softball Hall of Fame in the builder category. Please welcome Ed Shore.
This will be a very short speech. I didn't write one. Anyways, I'd like to thank my family for supporting me during my playing days and coaching days, and they sacrificed a lot. And I'd like to thank the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame for electing me to this honor, and I have a lot to be thankful for. I think the game of softball gave me more than I gave them, and it was a joy for 40 or 50 years, and didn't win too many national championships, but had a lot of fun playing ball. And that's about it. Thank you very much.
And our final individual inductee tonight is in the all-around category, Gord Zamzo. Gord grew up in Swan River and started playing softball in school in the late 1950s. Since then, he has left his mark on softball in Swan River in a very big way. He was a skilled player, whether he was playing fast pitch or slow pitch, and played at provincial, Western Canadian, and national championships. Due to the fact that he lived 12 miles from the Manitoba-Saskatchewan border, his coaching certification allowed him to take teams to provincial competitions in both provinces. In addition to his involvement in the Swan River area, Gord played Masters ball and recruited Masters and Open Age teams out of Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan, and was able to compete in Saskatchewan provincials and Western Canadians with those teams. Over the years, Gord gave back to the game in many ways. He has coached fast pitch and slow pitch teams and was instrumental in organizing and promoting the Swan River Fastball League. He has also held executive positions on numerous committees, including hosting committees for Manitoba games and zone playoffs that were held in Swan River. He was even a provincial registered umpire from 1980 to 1990, working zone playoffs and high school provincials. For many years, Gord was considered the driving force of softball in the Swan River area. Tonight, we induct Gord in the all-around category.
When your last name starts with a Z, you're last all the time. For you people that are dozing off, I won't take long. First, I want to thank the nominating committee and the Hall of Fame board for inducting me. That sounds like it could hurt. And especially the people that nominated me, Penny, Les, and Ken, I believe. I played some version of softball for 67 years. Starting in a little country school with 13 students, 11 girls and 2 boys. Going to a mostly girls' school had a lot of benefits, not the least of which was making the starting lineup in grade 2. On through minor ball and high school, was starting our own men's team when I was done school. The Swan River Merchants never played above the senior B level, but played a ton of ball in Manitoba and Saskatchewan. After 3 silver medals in the Manitoba Provincials, we finally won gold in 1994 with some of our sons being on the team. One huge thrill for me was playing with my sons on a Swan River Gopher team. Around the time I turned 40, I could see the end of the line was near, so needing new cleats, I bought the cheapest pair I could find. Then came a chance to play Masters ball in Saskatchewan, which I caught for until I was 62 with aching feet for 20 years. When I retired, I decided to give slow pitch a try, even though I was one of the ones that would swear I would never play slow pitch. After 18 years, I've totally enjoyed it, even bought new cleats this year. The most important thing for me is the friendships I have made during the years of softball, slow pitch and fast pitch. Some of the people I would like to mention over the years that have been a big help to me, from way back when, and some of these names, some of you will recognize: Kent Morgan, Gene Main, Gene Mitchell, Guy Jacobson out of Saskatchewan. From umpiring days, Bill Sidonic, Keith King, Ken Elchuk, and Jerry Howard, who helped us out a lot in Swan River. Our little town has hosted Western Canada Midget Boys and Girls, high school provincials, Manitoba senior games, and many Manitoba, games regular age, and many Manitoba provincials. A lot of thanks go to Fred Spiring, Dennis Hodgson, Bill Snyder, Rick Kinischuk, and of course Ken and Penny, and tons of teammates through the years. Most especially my wife's Max, sons Craig and Chris, and 5 grandchildren who all play a bunch of sports and have sacrificed over the years to allow me to enjoy the years. Special shout out to Reed, who spends part of this winter in the same park where we are, and we could never get him to play on the ball team, though. But thank God I didn't follow him talking. We will thank you all very much. I'm very honored and I appreciate it.
Wait. Not at all. Could we have one more round of applause for all of our individual inductees this evening? So we're going to take about 5 minutes. If you haven't put your silent auction tickets in, this is the time. And in the meantime, can I have all the Bison Seals fastball team, Smitty's Terminator fastball team, and the Winnipeg Internationals Ashams Fastball Club over here? We'll line them up in alphabetical order, and then we will continue. And 3 inductions. For the 3 teams that are being inducted, your group pictures will be taken after. Smitty's and Portage. Smitty's will be to the left, Portage to the right, and the Internationals to the right after this is done, please. All right. The first team to be inducted is the Portage Bison Seals. This is a 1965-1966 team. The Portage Bison team was formed in 1959 and was a member of the Central Manitoba Fastball League. In 1965, for the first time, the Canadian Amateur Softball Association decided to organize a Canadian National Championship for men's and women's softball. However, to be able to compete at nationals, teams had to be registered with their provincial softball association through whatever league they played in. The Manitoba Softball Association approached the Central Manitoba Fastball League and, because they were a registered league, offered them the opportunity to represent Manitoba at the upcoming first ever national championship in Calgary. The 1965 Bison coaching staff and core players, with the addition of 5 CMFL players, committed to participating as Team Manitoba at the Nationals. Although they lost both of their games, they showed that they were able to compete at that level. In 1966, the team, now named the Portage Seals due to a new sponsorship, and with the addition of 2 pitchers from Winnipeg, went to the national tournament which was again held in Calgary. Again, no medals were brought home, but this Portage La Prairie-based team has the distinction of playing in the first 2 Canadian Senior Men's Fastball Championships ever held, and began a tradition and an expectation that Manitoba teams would always be competitive at the national level. The 1965 Bison and 1966 Seals, as winners of the CMFL, participated in the provincial championships, winning consecutive intermediate A titles. Additionally, the teams participated in numerous softball tournaments throughout Manitoba, winning or finishing in the money in the majority of those tournaments. Please welcome the Portage Bison Seals team into the Hall of Fame. So the plan is that I will introduce each of the individuals and they will walk across the stage. If you'd like to take a picture, come on up. Joyce Bergson, representing Steve Bergson. You may want to hold your applause or you'll have raw hands by the end of the 3 teams. Judy Bergson for Danny Bergson. Jim Brands for Joe Bruce. Jody Dallin for Gary Cobb. Oh, I'll pause. There's pictures being taken. Wayne Denman, I apologize. Larry Dewis. Scott Dewis for Peter Dewis. Lola Doolin for Brian Doolin. Mark Booker for Frank Galbraith. Lou Gorski. Valerie Howard for Ken Lee. Doug Muir. Okay. Dave Shayak. Phil Siateki, I apologize, for Norm Siateki. Dave Smith. Carol Prince for Bert Wasminity. Gary Wright for Harold Wright. Ken Wright. And not with us, but part of the team, Sean Gallagher, Brian Hyde, Ed Pellicciati, Terry Owens, and Doug Palmer. These are your Portage Bison Seals. And if I could get Dave Shayak to come forward to represent the team.
Change. Change. How often have you heard that word in the last several weeks? On both sides of the border. Ronald Reagan, ex-president, probably said it best when he referred to change. He said, politicians and diapers must be changed often and for the very same reason. Tonight, we are going backwards. You're in for a treat. We're going back 60 years. I would speculate that half the people in this room were not yet born. The 60s. 1960 and 5, 1960 and 6. It was a time when kids played outside, not online. Parents wanted to talk to their kids, they talked to them by first name, not through a cell phone. Kids played outside from morning till night, sun up till sundown, only coming home for meals. And when they came home for a meal, if you didn't eat the meal in front of you, you didn't eat at all. Mother, before sending us out to play all day, always gave us the wise advice. She would say, mind where you're going, mind what you're doing, and if you should happen to break your leg, are you ready for this? If you happen to break your leg, don't come running home to me. That would be a little treat for sure. And it was also a time for party lines. You won't remember this. People received their phones in clusters of 5 to 8 people. They were given a number and a ringtone. If the number was 448, you picked up the phone, the clerk would say, number please, and you would tell them 448, ring 4 and 2, and you would rate for 4 short rings and 2 long rings before you picked up the phone. Problem was 3 to 5 other people picked up the phone too. Those were the days. Those were also the days, the 60s. And you won't remember this, because I said half of you haven't been born. There was a culture where families gathered together, worked hard, but also played hard. The average wage there per hour was $1 to $1.10. On a good week, you could make $32 after deductions. What did people do? Many people had hobby farms. They had small farms, large farms. They farmed, played hard, worked hard, but on weekends, totally different culture. Weekends were time for ball tournaments, softball, and as it was called then, hardball or baseball. Tournaments were played on Sundays and Saturdays if there were 2 days. If it was Sundays, time was built in for them to go to church. Then the whole family went to the ball yard. Mother packed picnic baskets with chicken, kobasa, which is garlic sausage, dill pickles, cheese, rye bread, buns, potato salad, cakes, cookies, you name it. And Mother set that table up. Kids played. They ran 3-legged races. Remember those? Sack races and 40-yard dashes for ribbons or coins, nickels or dimes. Men played ball. At that time, Peter Dewis started a league here in Portage called Central Manitoba Fastball League. The best league in the province and arguably the best in Western Canada. 1959, he started a team called the Portage Bisons. They played in the league that consisted of 4 to 6 teams. Portage Dodgers, Portage Mercuries, RCAF, Jets, and the Bisons. And at one time we had Campbell Soup and Shiloh. There was always 4 teams in that tournament, in that league. We, the Bisons, took our licks until 1964 when we started to make some noise. 1964, we were up near the top of the league, eventually losing the league to the Portage Dodgers. And then the following year, 1965, we led the league from beginning to end. Went through the league, won the league, entered playoffs, beat the Dodgers in the playoffs, were challenged by Dauphin Aristocrats in a best-of-5, beat them and were declared Intermediate A provincial champions. There was no senior provincial championship at that time. At that same year, CASA, Canadian Association, Canadian Amateur Softball Association, declared that they were having a national tournament in Canada, the first of its kind. You had to be a registered member of the Canadian Softball Association. Our league was. Winnipeg wasn't. They approached us and said, "Are you interested in playing in the Nationals in Calgary in August?" We had many, many meetings, many commitments and decommitments, and eventually a team was formed. Remember, the average weekly wage was about $32. People would have to miss work for a week or leave their jobs, and that was not an easy thing to do. So a commitment was made. And get this, are you ready for this? It was determined that the cost to go to nationals would be $1,000. Unbelievable. But remember, a weekly wage, $32. So then began fundraising endeavors. And this is really interesting. We started to fundraise. We had a committed group of guys that consisted of the Portage Bisons, management, coaches, core players, picked up 4 other league players, and prepared to go to nationals. Fundraising endeavors involved. Do you remember the expression, pass the hat? That's how we raised money. Every game we played, the hat was passed, and coins came in. And one of the first endeavors that we encountered, we had the team going to Calgary playing an all-star team, and there were a lot of people present. The hat was passed, and according to the graphic, 1965, it was stated, as the hat was passed, it was noticed that there were a few dollar bills in the hat. At game's end, the tally was taken. Are you ready for this? The total collected. Are you ready for this? The total collected that night, $47.29. Most of the other fundraising endeavors involved playing benefit games, and that's how we eventually made enough money to go. According to the Calgary Herald and the Portage Graphic, the Portage contingent, representing Manitoba, playing with board uniforms, made a credible showing, losing both games in a double knockout. Saskatchewan, they lost 8-3, and Ontario, they lost 7-6. Now, Portage had made a commitment to go 2 years in a row. So the following year, we were prepared with some of our fundraising endeavors. And we played exhibition games against teams like Brandon 7-Up, Molson Canadians. We had new sponsorship. We were now called Portage Seals. And there was a team in Winnipeg called Keywell Seals. Played them, played Dow Kings, Concordia, and Pine Falls, Paper Kings, Dauphin, and we played exhibition games and collected money. I have to share this with you. This is the 1960s. When we played in tournaments that required an overnight stay, including nationals, we would sleep, get this, 4 guys to a bed. There were no king beds, there were no queen beds. There were regular beds. First thing you did is you, in my case myself, go to the washroom, get the biggest towel that was there, roll it up like a rope, walk over to the bed, throw the sheets back, put that towel right in the middle of that bed, and say to your mate, "That's your side, that is my side." As long as you know that, we'll probably have a good night. And the rooms were $12 a night or $3 a head. And that's how we saved money. Off to Calgary we went. We started that tournament in 1966 as the opening game against the Calgary Hectors, 15-time provincial champions. We faced a guy named Peter Savinkoff, one of the top 3 pitchers in Western Canada. They beat us 7-3 on a 3-hitter. Next day, we played Ollie Fiddler, who used to throw the figure eight, Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan scored a number of runs. We went into the bottom of the ninth, nine-inning games, scored 3 runs to beat them 9-8. Promptly met Windsor, Ontario, in a game that was tied 1-1 for the longest time. They exploded for 6 runs, beat us. We returned home, ending up tied for 4th place. Back home, we continued with our league, won the league, played Dodgers, Portage Dodgers, and qualified for provincials. Played at the Winnipeg Stadium, where the Bombers are, or were. They made that into diamonds in a double knockout tournament. We ended up losing 1 round-robin game and had to beat Powerview Lac du Bonnie twice, which we did 9-7 and 10-0. Twice, 2 consecutive years, provincial champions. I will leave you with a couple of things, the aftermath. 1965, Vancouver Blue Boys, who were the perennial champions in Western Canada, won that national tournament in Calgary and represented Canada and Mexico at a World Invitational slow pitch tournament. The next year, Vancouver Blue Boys beat that same Windsor team that beat us. They beat them 1-0 in the final, 1966. They played as Canada's representative in the Pan American Games in Winnipeg that year. Softball was a demonstration sport. Interesting thing, when we went to Calgary the second time, we picked up 2 pitchers from Winnipeg, Ken Dilk and John Kalinowski. 1967, Winnipeg was now a member of the Canadian Amateur Softball Association. They represented Manitoba in Saskatoon and won the national championship in Saskatoon. First Manitoba team to ever win a national championship. Ken Dilk was the MVP. That Molson team represented Canada in the World Championships in 1968 in Oklahoma City, losing to the U.S., coming home with a silver medal. Finally, we have paid. By the way, some of the time from the previous people was allocated to me. The aftermath, you might be interested in hearing one last thing. We've paid tribute to people who are no longer with us. And I will say that out of the 24 people on our 1965-66 teams, there are only 11 survivors. So I say to you, and I've heard this many before, it's no fun growing old. It isn't. But consider this, many people are denied that opportunity. I played some games this year in a very competitive 80-plus league, and people had both knees replaced, hips replaced, and so forth, and they have pacemakers, they have had cataract surgery, but they still play competitively. And I'm convinced now, and I pass this on to you, it is far better to play the game poorly than simply to watch others playing it well. Folks, cherish this evening and every evening. Thank you. Sorry, Catherine, I want to thank you for all the wonderful people. I wanted to thank you very kindly. You're always so Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It might have been quicker to have everybody say a few words. Smitty's is the next team to be inducted. This is the Smitty's Terminators, 1999 to 2003. Smitty's is a team with a long and impressive history in women's softball in Manitoba. However, it would be hard to surpass the success of the Smitty's Terminators teams from 1999 to 2003. They were the most successful women's team in the country during that period, winning 4 gold and 1 silver at national championships, 5 medals in 5 years. To be that successful at the national level, it goes without saying that they were a dominant team at the provincial level and at countless tournaments across Canada. To win 1 national championship requires elite players and coaching. To win over a 5-year period requires that a core group of players and coaches keep coming back. Many of the players and coaches were members of the team for all 5 years, a testament to the leadership and dedication the Terminators had. Let's meet the team. Lindsay Beauchemin. Paul Boucher. Dina Caplet. Lindsay Chester. Rhonda Denbo. Carla McMillan. Jill Matthews. Mark Maskew accepting for Sandy Maskew. Adrian McElray. Marion Newsham. Kim Owen. Danica Payette. Nikki Ryu Lavely. Amanda Ryan. Rianne Ryan Verneest. Leanne Scott. Carla Taylor. Jack Taylor. Mel Winning. Lainey Wirtz. Also part of the team but not with us, Stacy Dobbin, Jackie Lance, Tanis Lavely, Heather Ruby, Amanda Snell, Debbie Sonnenberg, and Karen Thull Kirby. Please welcome Leanne Papineau to represent the team.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I don't know how I'm going to follow up that last speech, to be honest, because I cannot remember a date if my life depended on it. And a lot of those years of success in playing baseball are a little bit of a blur. So we're going to do our best here. And I just wanted to say congratulations to all of the inductees this evening, and past and present. And thank you to Marion Newsham for the nomination. On behalf of the entire 1999 to 2003 Smitty's Terminators team, I want to say what a tremendous honor it is to stand here tonight as we are inducted into the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame. Being recognized for this chapter in our lives, years filled with sacrifice, grit, and unforgettable memories, is something we deeply cherish. Those seasons were nothing short of remarkable. To win a national championship once is an incredible feat. To build and sustain a team that claimed the title over several years speaks volumes about the heart, talent, and character of every single player, coach, and supporter who wore or stood behind the Smitty's jerseys. Not all of us were there from day one to day done. Over the years, players came and went, each leaving fingerprints on our legacy. Whether you played one inning or 5 seasons, you helped shape who we were. Every hit, bunt, slide, strikeout, cheer, or long car ride with one another down the highway mattered. Even times when we were broken down on the highway and the other girls would drive by and wave and not realize that we don't have cell phones back then. So that was the rest of the story for later. And for those who were part of the team for 5 straight years, we didn't just play the game. We helped pave the road for what softball in Manitoba could be. We were trailblazers. Together, we exemplified what made the Smitty's Terminators more than just a dominant team. We helped forge a legacy, one built on determination, resilience, and pride. The Smitty's name carries weight in Canadian softball, not only because of the banners we raised, but because of the culture we built. We were a family. We pushed each other, believed in each other, and never lost sight of what it meant to wear that jersey. I'd be remiss not to give this one story special recognition. One core memory I have was the '99 season. We almost had our gold medal stripped of us. That may be a bit of an exaggeration. I'm not sure if any of you recall this championship game, but I surely do. We were playing in Nationals in Edmonton and had just won the final game. Cheers were deafening, champagne was flying, medals around our necks. We were on top of the world. And then, like something out of a movie, members of the Softball Canada Committee marched straight out onto the field and direct their attention to none other than me. Apparently, the new drug testing policy had just come into effect that year, and I was randomly selected. There was nothing random about this, let me tell you. Let's just say I've been known to be a bit of a firecracker. I like to call it passion for the game. So there I was, champagne bottle snatched from my hand, coaches looking like they've just seen a ghost, and poor Paul slowly removing his medal and placing it back on the table. The mood shifted fast for some. Meanwhile, I'm being marched into the washroom with an official from the National Center for Drug-Free Sport, thinking to myself, me? Really? Drug testing? I think my average was like 197 or something like that. I don't know how I was making a difference, but I was randomly selected. They're not surprised. So now I'm standing in the washroom facing an employee from the National Center for Drug-Free Sport and providing a urine sample in full view. So, it's a pretty good game, eh? Awkwardly squatting over the toilet. In the meantime, one of my good friends and teammates reassured the rest of the players that I do not do drugs. I never had, and that all of my craziness was real. I may have been known to have a few drinks back then, But I passed the test, I returned to my team, and the celebrations picked up right where we left off. Moments like that don't just make you laugh years later. They remind you of the bonds we shared, the trust, the deep, unshakable friendships that come from giving everything you got for the person beside you. We share this honor tonight with every coach who believed in us, every teammate who gave everything to the game, and every parent, volunteer, and fan who supported us. Thank you to the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame for preserving this history, our history, and for reminding us all of the impact a team can have, not just in the record books, but in each other's lives. To every teammate, every coach, every family member, every rival that pushed us harder, and to the game of softball, thank you for giving us a stage to be loud, bold, competitive, emotional, and yes, the occasional drug test. We were Smitties, and we were unforgettable. Thank you.
Well done. Our final team to be inducted, our final induction tonight, is the Winnipeg Internationals Ashems team 1983 to 1990. In the winter of 1983, the Winnipeg Fastball Club was formed to compete at the highest levels of fastball in Canada and the United States. Due to sponsorship agreements, the team was first called the Winnipeg Internationals and then later Winnipeg Ashems. The team existed for 11 years, discontinuing operation after the 1993 season. For 8 of those years, they were Manitoba Senior A men's provincial champions, including 4 consecutive years from 1987 to 1990. Winning the Provincial A tournament made the team the Manitoba representative at the Canadian National Senior A Championships. In order to play some of the best competition available, the club played in the Canada West Softball League that was made up of teams from Calgary and Camrose and Saskatoon and Regina. The team also competed at many top-level tournaments in Canada and the U.S., including the International Softball Congress, World Tournaments in 1984 in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Sioux City, Iowa in 1991. To be this successful at such a high level of competition over this extended period of time required dedication and commitment from players, coaches, management, sponsors, and families. Let's meet the Winnipeg International Ashems team. Shelby Abbott for Doug Abbott. Maybe one of the best sponsors and supporters of all sport, Arnold Asham. Reed Burse. Cliff Bishop. Greg Bouchard. Mike Bukowski. Dean Kerr. I didn't know you were on that. These are my curling people. Rick Denny. And speaking of great curlers, Randy Dutame. Ron Dick. Les Elchuk. Ken Friesen. Garth German. Maria Henry for Daryl Henry. Gary Hebert. Peter Clausen. Ferdy Nielsen. Andrea Shrigley for Larry Nielsen. Daryl Parisian. Wendell Shatkowski. Shadlowski. Here's your moment, Freddie. Fred Schleier. He has 29 people here tonight. Walk slow. That's his regular speed. Tracy Turner for Bob Turner. Jamie Wardrop. Rob Wardrop. Lenny Wheeler. Leona Wilson for Dale Wilson, and not with us, but a part of the team, Garth Asham, Bradley Bouchard, Rolly Boucher, Carl Foxworthy, Ron Gustafson, Gary Johnston, Don McDonald, Brian Pallister, Grant Skinner, Pat Spiring, and Jim Wildman. These are your Winnipeg International Ashams fastball team. And if I could get Reed Burrs to come back. Reed, would you come and speak for the team? It's your turn.
I gotta find my glasses. I'm like that movie there, what's his name, Jack Nicholson, that says, hey, I'm back or whatever. I can't remember, but anyway. Thank you to the Manitoba Softball Hall of Fame for accepting our nomination, and to Greg Bouchard and Garth German for putting the submission together. Thanks to the team members and team member representatives for coming out this evening. A special thanks to those who traveled from outside Winnipeg. Hope I didn't miss anything, but kudos to Mike Bukowski all the way from Toronto. I'd like to acknowledge the teammates, coaches, and executive members that have passed. Freeland Lowen, Gary Johnson, Larry Nielsen, Don McDonald, Dale Wilson, Bob Turner, Pat Spiring, Daryl Henry, and just recently, Ron Gustafson. I hope I didn't miss anybody because we're getting older, so they're dropping like flies. But anyway, the Internationals team got its beginning in the winter of '83 with Shorty Loan and Gary Johnson assembling a hand-picked team they thought could challenge for a national championship. Arnold Asham was recruited to coach the team. The Internationals Asham team would compete in 5 nationals from 1983 to 1989, excelling in round-robin play, but disappointing in medal play. A 4th-place finish in '83, 2 5th-place finishes in '85 and '87. In '88 and '89, we lost out on tiebreakers to advance to the medal round. 1984 saw the first year of a newly formed Midwest Fastball League, a 6-team loop consisting of Winnipeg, Camrose, Calgary, Regina, Saskatoon Rempel Brothers, and Saskatoon Molsons. The highlight of that year was us winning the Calgary Super Tourney and the ISC qualifying entry. From 1983 on, we competed against teams in Western Canada with big payrolls. With those big payrolls came the ability to import players. We were more than competitive with no imports, just Manitoba talent, and we had an outstanding homegrown Manitoba pitching staff over those years. Not all at the same time, but Cliff Bishop, Brian Pallister, Terry Bone, Rolly Boucher, Greg Bouchard, and Mike Bukowski. We recruited players from all over the province, and many of them are here tonight. Arnold Asham and myself split the coaching duties that year. I'd like to acknowledge some of the assistant coaches over those years. Carl Foxworthy, '83 through till '85. Larry Nielsen from '84, '85, and '88. Garth Asham in '87 and Don McDonald in '89. Also, to our trainer for a number of years, Dean Kerr. We played in a strong league. In that league, in 1983, the teams finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the national championships. And the next 5 years running, teams from our league won the national championships. In '84, '85, '86, and '88 was Alberta, and Saskatchewan in '87. On any given time during that time we were playing in that league, we faced national team pitchers Mark Smith, Gene McWillie, Glenn Jevney, Jim Cowdery, Rob Schiller, Jeff Boyce, and with honorable mention to Don Bates, Eugene Emberley, Paul Gard, and Aaron Edelman, and when Regina came in, or pardon me, when Portage came in, Greg Wallvogel. There was also a guy named Jackson. I can't remember his first name, but they call him Jocko. Hey? Alan Jackson from the New Zealand national team pitched in that league. You can always count on PK to help me out. Some of the team highlights over those years, we played in well over 20 tournaments in Western Canada and the northern U.S. We hosted touring teams such as the Ty Stofflet and the Pennsylvania Sunners and the Decatur ADM team, which was the United States ISC and ASC champions. In 1983, we were the runner-up to Sioux City in the Eugene Home Classic in Fargo. In '84, as I mentioned, we won the Super Tourney in Calgary, the ISC rep. We also won $10,000 for that tournament, so that paid a lot of bills. '84 ISC World Tourney in Allentown, Pennsylvania, 18th place finish, which doesn't sound that good until you figure there's 64 teams there, 3-2 win-loss record. '84, '85, '87, and '88, Fargo, Eugene Home Classic winners. In '85, we played in the Decatur ADM Memorial Day Invitational Tourney, round-robin tournament. We finished with a 3-1 record, a second-place finish. We defeated Jim Cowdery and Green Bay Allcar, and a team from Bloomington, the Bloomington Hearts, and then a team from St. Louis. In '89, in the Saskatoon Rempel Brothers Tournament, 25th annual tournament, we were the runner-up. And something that I think is unique, and I don't think it's been done, well, certainly not in Manitoba. In 1983, we had 2 Pan Am gold medal winners on our roster. Cliff Bishop from 1979 and Grant Skinner from '83. Something also worth mentioning is there were 4 players on that international Asham team over the 6 years that played over that 6 years, I played every year. Peter Clausen, Ron Dick, the late Ron Gustafson, and myself. Now, I'd like to call on Arn Lasham to say a couple of words.
And it's going to be a couple, sorry. But I'm inducted as a coach, and once a coach, always a coach. And I tell you, I just want to encourage all you folks to keep coaching. Our kids out there need to be coached. We taught our kids how to play and all the rest of that, but very few of them are turning into coaches and volunteers. Like most of our volunteers are gray hair. And I just want to say, fast forward a few years, I coached with my son to a Canadian championship at Pee Wee, and then I went on with Gold Eyes, and then I went to Moose Jaw and coached. But in the meantime, I was loaned out here to the fastball, and we ended up going to a few national championships, and it was wonderful. And all the friends we made, and I want to congratulate all the guys that were inducted. And fast forward a few years, at 50, I started dancing and coaching dancing, and I have a couple of young gentlemen here with me. Jacob and Mikey, just stand up. And I just want to say they're wonderful young men and humans. They started with me when they're 4 and 5 years old, and they're 25 and 23 today at this time, and they're still with us. And you never know when you can change a kid's life. And just, baseball and curling and hockey and some of these other sports are tough with the community center and all the rest of it. But I tell you just take golf, for example, and you, as a person who just enjoys the odd game of golf, to pick up a kid, go pay his dues and take him out on the course and take him around in the cart and change his life. You know what? We all need help out there. We all need love, and we all need to be cared for. So thank you so much. We so appreciate it.
If we could get one more round of applause for our 3 teams being inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. Well, that concludes the evening. If you've bought silent auction tickets, the prize numbers are posted. Next year's is in Brandon. We hope to see you then. Travel safe.